Right, Dario, let's go to Redditch. I've never been to this needle museum before, and I was looking for somewhere to go near where I've dropped my daughter off to uni, and I saw this, the Redditch Needle Museum. So I thought I'd go and have a look. I have no idea what to expect. So it could be a disaster, it could be really interesting, but one thing, they've got a cafe, so I'm bound to get a cup of tea. Right, come on, Dario, let's go to Redditch. On the way to Redditch, it wasn't very far, and now I'm at the Needle Museum. I've got a little sticker to say that I've paid, and it cost me £6.95, which I think is not bad at all. And this is the building behind me, where I'm going to go and have a look what's in. I've already spoken to one of the lovely volunteers, and she told me that they were making needles here until the 1950s, and that the last man working, his overall is still hanging up here. So we'll see if we can find it. It's a lovely building. Looks really interesting. Let's go and see what we can discover. Museum entrance is up here. Oh, opened in 1983. Okay, let's go and see. Right, we're going to go downstairs and see what I can find down there. There is one set of stairs which is a little bit steep. I don't think it's this one. She warned me. I think we should be all right with this one. So let's have a look. Okay, this one doesn't look too bad. It smells sort of, I don't know, like a little bit damp, and I guess it is a watermill. There's lots of interesting things here. Key rings, football adapters. I don't even know what these things are for. Cotter pins. Oh, look. Curtain wire. Well, look at that door spring. That's impressive. How needles are made. Let's go and have a look. So I'm reading all the information. There's a lot of information here. And it's telling me that in the 1800s, it took more than 30 different processes to make one needle. And by 1870, Redditch had a monopoly of needle making in Britain. I just never knew Redditch was famous for needles. I know about Sheffield and cutlery and all that, but I never knew that. Well, every day is a school day. So this is interesting. It says that carbon steel wire is used for making needles, and that it came from Hathersage in Derbyshire. Well, I'm from Derbyshire, not from Hathersage though. That's a bit more further north. But yeah, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Here in Redditch, the needles were created through a remarkable number of steps. It all began with steel wire delivered in heavy coils. The wire was drawn again and again through smaller holes until it reached just the right thickness. Each piece was then cut to length, enough for 2 needles joined together. Because the wire came tightly wound, it had to be straightened by heating and rolling before it could be worked. Then came one of the most skilled and dangerous jobs, pointing. Pointers pressed the steel against fast-spinning stones, grinding each end to a sharp tip. Next, the centre of the wire was flattened and pressed to form an eye. A tiny groove was added on either side to make sure the thread would run smoothly. The double length was snapped in half, and now there were 2 separate needles. The unfinished needles were hardened and tempered in fire, making them strong but not brittle. Then came the scouring mill, where bundles of needles were tumbled with oil and abrasives and polished smooth by water power. Finally, they were washed, dried, sorted and inspected. Only the flawless needles were packed into wrappers and boxes, ready to be shipped around the world. In all, it took as many as 30 different processes to transform a simple piece of wire into a perfect needle. Just watched a really interesting video made by the mill about how the needles were made, and I can't believe how many processes there were. But look at these, they look enormous. This is my hand. Look at those. Whoa. So I've just been watching this little film from here, which the Needlemakers Museum has made, and it tells you all about the history of needle making. It's really interesting. So many people are involved in making just one needle, and the risks to the health. Some died at 35 in different conditions. They missed fingers, they were blinded. I mean, God, it sounds a bit of a slog. And look at the working hours. Oh, they do get Sunday off, I suppose. 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. 10 full days a year. Well, this is the needle pointing. They've got they have a length of wire, the length of 2 needles, and then they point each end. So he's grinding it against a stone. But I think these people, the dust that they inhaled must have been horrendous, and just would be just in their lungs, and the points of the needles would fly off, and oh my goodness. It says here 23, well, let's see. A needle pointer could point up to 10,000 needles in an hour. That's incredible. There's a piece here about the perils of pointing, and it said pointers rot. They worked in clouds of dust which destroyed their lungs. Like silicosis, a form of silicosis. It was rare to find a pointer over the age of 30 years. My goodness. Oh dear, this is a bit of a sad story. At a Victorian pointing mill in Hathersage, sparks from the pointing stone set fire to a pointer's clothes. He ran outside, jumped in the mill pond, but he drowned. Oh, life was hard in those days. The struggle was definitely real. Oh. So this is something called a kick stamper, and it makes the impression of where the needle eyes will go. So they do them 2 at once. So this is what they look like, 2 joined together. He just makes the impression, and then the next stage was done by women and children. They punched the eyes through using a fly press, and they were expected to produce 20 to 25,000 needles per day. I have an easy life making these little vlogs compared, compared to the life here. It must have been absolute slog, noise and dust, and no time off, not many cups of tea. Oof. Okay, now we have to go to the scouring mill because making the needles, it says here, grinding and the hardening stage has left them scratched and discoloured. So the next stage is to glaze them to a highly polished finish. There is so much information down here. I can't take it all in. I'm going to see if they've got a little book or something with it, the information in, because there's just so much stuff. It's fascinating. I never realised so much went into it. You just really take it for granted when you thread your needle and you're sewing, like the history of it. Well, there's some wire here. This is how the wire starts. I'll show you. So this is the carbon steel wire that they start with. So it's quite thick, and they have to stretch it out and wind it around to be thinner so that it's the right width for the needles. But that's quite a solid chunk, isn't it? Right, let's head on upstairs, and then we've got to go down the dodgy stairs. I have a look at them, see what they're like. So this was the actual piece from the Philadelphia International Exhibition of 1876. And this company represented Britain and was the only entrant to have received 2 medals of sheer excellence for their product. I mean, you'd have that on your wall, wouldn't you? It's a right work of art. Look at that, it's beautiful. Some of the artwork on the needle packets is really lovely. How it's changed over the years as well. These are a bit more recognisable to the sort of needles that we have. These are needle packets, and they're just absolutely beautiful. Look, a present from Crystal Palace. The artwork's amazing on these as well. They really are just absolutely gorgeous. And look at these little kits. There's one here and it says, "Troubles are ended when they are mended." This is a little display about make, do and mend. Obviously that came during World War II. People were obviously doing it well before that, but that's when the make, do and mend campaigns came in to make people's clothes last longer in the war. But look at these beautiful kits and things. There's a few of these needle displays. This one's massive, huge. Look at those needles. They're sewing machine needles. Maybe they're examples. I don't know what sewing machine you'd get those in. And these are tiny. They look quite dull compared to our needles that we have now. So this one's another display. This one's from William Hall of Studley, Redditch. I think you say Studley. Anyway, these are upholsterers, mattress needles. What are those? Bleachers needles. Don't even know what some of these things are. Maybe they're things that we don't even do anymore. Knitting pins. Glovers. There's a glover's needle there. A miner's lamp hook. Football lacing awl. I wonder if they still use those. Great care was taken to ensure that the end. If you can hear talking, there's another video running, telling people about the history. So this factory also made fish hooks, and that's what this display is. And they also make surgical needles. These are curved usually. Hypodermic needles up there. Several holes on. So these are needle case label samples. So I guess that's what for the salesman, so that you could choose which one to have in your store. It says that they think these are from the 1940s and 50s. They do look like that sort of style. I love the Christmas ones. Look at those. You can put those on my Christmas list. That'd be great. I wish needle cases were a bit like that now. Here we are, Schmetz needles. That's the ones I like. Here they've got one, 3,000-year-old Native American needle and awl. Wow. They were then dipped into a washing tray. Oh, what about this one? Oops. Twin-pointed quick stitch needles, a revolutionary concept in tapestry and cross stitch. I don't know if that's the twin pointed needles is something that now you use, but I can't imagine something like that. Hey, we're going to the scouring mill. Oh, we're outside. There is the water wheel. Not running today. Ooh. Oh my God. That gave me fright. Ooh. It was Mrs. Thatcher. Smells in here sort of oily and dusty. I can't imagine what it would have been like to work in somewhere like this. God, you can sort of feel the dust in the air, like you can taste it, and it's quite strange. And it's dark. So this room is where they do the scouring, and it's a polishing process, removing the scratches left by pointing and grinding, and it takes off the discoloration, leaves the needles perfectly smooth. A large part of the success of the Redditch needle makers has come from the care applied to the finishing of needles by scouring. Okay, we are going to head down here. I'm going to look at the stairs. She said if it's too steep, I can go out around the outside. Off we go. I'm not going to film me going down the stairs because I think it could end in disaster. I made it down the stairs. These are the stairs. Ooh. They are really steep, and I actually needed both my hands to get down them. But you can see on the wall where people have had their hands on the wall to sort of guide them down. And this bit was really tricky, this little corner. But as I've come down, the temperature's massively dropped. And upstairs, it sort of felt dusty and powdery. And down here, it sort of has the smell of river water. I guess it's more on the level with the river. And it's a lot cooler, a bit like a cellar would be cooler. So I'm going to have a look in. This is the barreling shop. Oh wonder if it's anything to do with wine. So this is after the scouring and glazing. The needles were washed and left in barrels and then tumble dried in sawdust. This took about 20 minutes. So there's the barrels. I'm not sure what this thing is. Ah, here we are. Needles were packed into large sackcloth bundles called sets and used in a putting up tray. This would contain 50,000 needles in here. So in this, they pour soft soap and water over the needles and then put the cloth around them, and it rolls backwards and forwards under a thing for 8 hours, and it's taken out every 2 hours to check it wasn't running dry. And after the needle's been in this thing for 8 hours, they unpack it, they take them out and wash them thoroughly in hot water. And they do this, according to their information here, 3 to 5 times. Ooh. And then the needles were glazed. Wow. Scouring was dirty work and exhausting. Sets weighed 30 pounds, and the scourers developed strong arms from manipulating them. So they got scourer's disease, which is hernias, to you and me. I'm not surprised, even that about for 8 hours a day. Oh no, he's started up again. He's a head scourer. Ooh. Oh, so this is the fanning out tray. So this is where the needles that have been dried, they have to be separated from the sawdust. So the turbulence moves the needles. Let's see. The turbulence caused by rapidly moving the tray up and down was sufficient to fan the lighter sawdust and leave a tray of sparkling needles. And it's still used in certain Redditch factories today. First described in 1789. There's the needles. Right, let's go. Oh, there's some, that must be the old overalls the lady told me about. Right, let's go outside. Ooh, mill pond. mill pond. The big steps. I don't think this is the mill pond. Or maybe. Oh, it could be. Or maybe you can go out of this gate. No, it's padlocked. Maybe there's another way to the mill pond. Have a look up here. See what we can find. This is where I came into the museum. Oh, this is where you get to the mill pond. Ooh, it does look very deep. Guess it's dammed up to stop the mill wheel working. I have some fruit. Sadly, I don't. I finished my tour, and it's just as well because my tripod's just packed in and collapsed. I think it's had enough. I found this an amazing place. It's been so interesting. It's like it really feels like you're going back in time and you're in the room. I've gone on I think it's a Friday morning. It's quite quiet. There's no school trips or anything, and for most of the time, I've had a place to myself and I've had time to absorb all the information. It's been brilliant. I really enjoyed it, and it's such a beautiful setting. I do recommend it if you're in this area. It's only £6.95. Just bob in and have a look. It really is interesting, and I think I might go and check out the cafe to see if they do a good cup of tea. And you may have noticed you can now click the thanks button down here somewhere, and you can help me buy a new tripod. So if you click the button, it'll give you an option to pay £1.99, and that will just help me because my tripod is just, it's gone. Or you can just subscribe and like and comment. It's really nice to know what people think. Right, I'm going to head in and see if I can get a cup of tea, because I really need one now. It's very dusty in there. I don't know how they manage working in there without a cup of tea for hours on end. I think my tripod will just about survive. It's getting really wobbly. Oh, so anyway, I've got a cup of tea from that lovely coffee bar, and there's an option to go large for 30p extra. So do you think I did? Of course I did. And I have got this lovely flapjack as well. Oh, look at that. Oh, my tea bag's still in. Better get a stirrer. Mind you, I do like it quite strong. Mm. Oh, wow. That's a good cup of tea. This is rather sticky. Mm. Mm-mm. It's really sticky. Mm. Good choice though. So, what's the most surprising fact you've learned today about needles? I think for me, I just couldn't believe how many illnesses and diseases they got and how they didn't live very long. I don't think I thought of it as a heavy industry like mining or, I don't know, steel making. It has really made me appreciate needles more. I don't think I thought what went into them, but it's so skilled And it's a process that's been going on for 3,000 years. Mm. That's how long it's going to take me to make that flipping L'Oreal Christmas quilt. Mm. Let's go and see what they've got in there. Little gift shop. And lovely. Thank you so much. I'll get a fridge magnet. Shall I show you what I bought? I wanted to buy something from the museum because they very generously let me film and photograph my way around. So I bought a tea towel for my new studio, which tells me how to choose the right needle. I got a little pencil because I always like to buy a pen or a pencil from somewhere, you know, just to remind me. And I got a fridge magnet for my new fridge in my studio. So I would say that's a nice little souvenir haul. Thank you for watching my little tour of the Needle Museum. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, maybe give me a like or a subscribe. That really helps my channel to grow. And thanks to you, I have now reached 1,000 subscribers. Well, I'm more than that now, but that's a real big milestone for me. And I'm so, so grateful. So thank you to everyone who likes and subscribes and comes along with me.